Who am I, and what is my purpose for being here? This is the question I want to answer today. How many of you out there have ever pondered this question? This is a vital question to the individual, for it defines the very reason we exist, and ultimately, how we live out our short days on this earth. If we don't understand the answer to these two questions, then it would be very difficult to make sense of the rest of the world. First, who am I? This question can be found in Genesis 1:27. God created mankind in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female. My focus is on the middle section of that verse. He created him in the image of God. What's interesting here is that the preposition in can also be translated as the word as, and the word image is in verb form, meaning we could say God created him as the imager of God. In other words, we're called to be his imagers. We're called to love him as he loves us. We're called to love others and care for those who need our help. Ultimately, we've been given a choice to either accept who we are as God's imagers, or we can deny it, but in doing so, causing confusion and ultimately destruction, literally denying who we are. But if we do not deny him and who he's created us to be, and we surrender to his will and follow him, then he will adopt us into his family. John 1:12 says, "But to all who did receive Jesus, he gave them the right to be the children of God, to those who believe in his name." Those who surrender and believe in Jesus and what he came to do, he gave them the right to be the children of God. They will be adopted into the heavenly family of God. Now, naturally, who we are is connected to the question, what is our purpose? Our purpose as imagers is, as I said earlier, to love Yahweh, the God of heaven and earth, to love others, and to care for those who need our help. And that includes those who don't know Jesus and have never heard the good news that God became human in Jesus, that he lived perfectly on this earth 2,000 years ago, that he died on the cross, putting all humanity's sin on himself to be the atonement for sinners, so that all who trust alone in him will have their sins forgiven and will be clothed in his righteousness. That he rose victorious from the grave because death could not hold him, and now he is ascended to the right hand of the Father, and he is ruling over all the nations with full dominion. So to answer the question plainly, who am I? I am an imager of God, called to image Jesus, called to conform to his image, and ultimately believing and having faith in him alone, we are adopted as sons and daughters to carry out his will on earth as it's done in heaven. Those who believe in him are part of God's family. Our purpose is to spread the knowledge of him to all the nations, so that the earth will be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the sea is filled with water.